Um, Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sir. I am Mervin the Taxi reporting on review on the history of computers. Before the computers, uh, the word computers is from the root word compute, which means to calculate or to sum up or compute. So the first, let's discuss first this abacus. The abacus was invented in the ancient Mesopotamia, likely between 2700 to 2300 BCE. Originally, these early counting tools consisted of flat, sandy surface or board where stones or pebbles were moved to represent numbers, evolving over centuries into a wire and bead frame known today. This abacus no, we practice use in high school, but we cannot see as this in today. Would like you to show the abacus. Yes, the abacus is a manual calculating tool that uses sliding beads. These are the beads. This stone, black stone, as shown in the illustration. Uses a sliding beads and rods within a frame to represent numbers and perform mathematical operation. It serves a precursor to the modern calculator and is still used today for education, mental math development, and by individuals with visual impairment. So this is a very useful or used by the person or individual that has impairments. The abacus was invented in ancient Mesopotamia. This recent number unknown today. Next, I would like to discuss the first computer, or I would like to sort from the first computer. But before this ENIAC, electronic numerical integrator and computer, there was first early computers. First, the Z1 that can operate addition and subtraction. Then in 1930, in 1941, world oldest digital computer is the Z3. And after that, in 1930 and 1940s, next is the first, the 1946, the ENIAC, or Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. This is the world first programmable electronic purpose electronic general purpose digital computer completed in 1945, built at the University of Pennsylvania for the U.S. Army to calculate artillery firing tables. It was 1,000 times faster than electromechanical machines. Also, this ENIAC is using a vacuum tubes to perform complex calculation. This ENIAC 1. So ENIAC 1 was developed in the United States, and it was one of the first large electronic computers. So it's big computers as shown in the pictures. And ENIAC, so as I researched, ENIAC needs two to people to operate and show the calculation and numbers. Next, from the ENIAC is in 1950s. First generation computers is the UNIVAC. So UNIVAC 1 or UNIVAC 1 in 1951 became the first commercially produced computer. So same as computer used vacuum tubes and were very large and expensive. So after that, this is the illustration of UNIVAC. was the first commercial electronic digital computer produced in the United States, designed by G. Rickert and John Sane. For business and government use in 1951. It famously predicted the 1952 presidential election and set industry standard for data processing. So after the UNIVAC, or the Universal Automatic Computer, in 1960, these second generation computers or were replaced by transistors, making computers smaller, faster, and more reliable. So from this biggest one, from the ENIAC and UNIVAC, so in 1960s, this second generation computers into smaller, faster, and reliable. Next is the Advanced Research Project Agency Network, or the ARPANET. So ARPANET, built in 1969, was the first network that led to creation of the internet. ARPANET helped develop important tools like email and supported non-military uses over time. So it helps universities connect together and eventually replace ARPANET by forming today's internet backbone. So the processor, the until we use today, as I said in our computer, is there is still an Intel. I'm familiar with the Intel, and I did not see this processor Altair or Altair inspired the development of personal computers. So next is the IBM, the IBM personal computers model 5150, introduced in August 12, 1981, revolutionized computing by establishing the industry standard architecture for desktop computers, a landmark of microcomputer that standardized the personal computing industry and popularized the term PC, or personal computer. Developed in just 1 year by a team in Boca Raton, Florida, it used an open architecture with off-the-shelf components to bring a relatively affordable machine to both homes and offices, as the illustration shows the IBM personal computer. Then, this is in 1981. In 1984, so IBM was also developed by Bill Gates. Then they provides the operating system, Microsoft, the IBM Microsoft. The next is Apple. This Mac or Macintosh. Introduced by Apple on January 24, 1984, the Macintosh, now Mac, was the first successful mass-market personal computer featuring a graphical user interface, or GUI, and a mouse. It revolutionized computing by replacing text-based commands with icons and windows, aiming to make computers user-friendly. So modern Macs ran on Apple Silicon. Today, the brand, simply now known as Mac, encompasses a diverse lineup of high-performance laptops, desktop powered by Apple's custom silicon chips. So the Apple was uh, Apple. So the inventor of the Apple is Tim Cook, or there are many uh, CEO, or as well known today is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. So Apple is iPhone is also belong from Apple, like iPhone 710 Pro Max, fully paid. Next is the I show this operating system of the IBM. In the left side is the operating system of the IBM, or IBM PC, and the right side here is the Mac OS digital timeline. So we are using here in our school, or almost maybe here in Bohol, we are using Microsoft as operating system in the IBM PC, the Windows. So Windows 96, 98, 2010, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 9, Windows 10, and Windows 11 in 2021. Then I am not familiar with the Mac OS digital timeline. Next is, I would like to show here, it's more than 10 minutes now. I would like to show here the digital timeline of computer. First, the computer, the abacus, then in 1930s to 1940s, this is the early electronic computers. They include is the Z1 and Z3 and Z4. In 1946, the ENIAC was developed in the United States. 1950s, the UNIVAC first, the UNIVAC 1 or first generation computers. In 1960s, second generation computers. In 1970s, microprocessors era, the Intel and the 1975 Altair. In 1980s, personal computers revolution, as what I've discussed in this, the IBM PC and the Apple Macintosh. In 1990s, internet age, so personal computers and World Wide Web. 2000, laptops, smartphones and tablets. And 2010, the smartphones and cloud computing. So I would like to show here the timeline of the computers. So say the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, and 2010 up to present now. So the ENIAC, UNIVAC, the transistor, Intel Altair, the IBM, PC, and Apple Macintosh, then laptop to smartphones, then cloud EI, the smart and cloud computing. And that's all. Thank you. I am Pansip Marvindi, ICTC 4. Thank you very much, sir, and good afternoon.